I spent 5 years helping my sister get back on her feet. I told myself I was just being a good brother. But when her youngest looked at me one night and said, "You're my real dad," I felt something inside me snap. And suddenly, everything made sense. I'm Nathan. I'm 38, single, burned out, and apparently born with a savior complex. I don't have any kids, but I might as well. I've been playing housekeeper, therapist, and part-time chauffeur for my sister and her kids ever since she came crying about her ex. It was supposed to be temporary. It never was. It started with a phone call at 2 a.m. That should have been my first red flag. "Nate, I don't know what to do." He left. "I can't pay the rent. The kids." Yeah, that kind of call. I could have said no. Should have. But instead, I grabbed my keys and drove 90 minutes to her place. Because when your little sister cries, you don't think straight, especially when you're the big brother who practically raised her after dad dipped. Her ex, or whatever you'd call a guy who thinks yelling at toddlers is a parenting style, had finally vanished. She looked wrecked. Bags under her eyes. Messy hair. Kids clinging to her like wet socks. And me? I walked in like some half-baked superhero, thinking, yeah, I got this. That night, I paid her rent. The next week, I stocked her fridge. Then I started picking the kids up from school. Then came the morning drop-offs, bedtime stories, diaper runs, parent-teacher conferences. And before I knew it, I was basically the third child in that house. Only one who paid the bills. It became my full-time side gig. Wake up, work, drive across town, help with homework, clean dishes I didn't dirty, fix things I didn't break, repeat. And my sister? She called it, just until I get back on my feet. Spoiler alert, her feet must have been made of pudding, because 5 damn years later, she was still on the couch scrolling Instagram while I made dinosaur-shaped pancakes for her 6-year-old. At first, I chalked it up to stress. Trauma. I mean, I'm not heartless. She went through hell with that loser. And raising 2 kids alone? Not a joke. So I stayed. Kept showing up. Thought I was doing the noble thing. But even saints have limits. And I am not a saint. Because the longer I stayed, the more things didn't add up. Like how the kids never mentioned their dad. Not once. No, when is he coming back? Or, Mommy said Daddy's in Florida. Nothing. Just silence. Like he never existed. Especially from the little one, Eli. That kid latched onto me like I was oxygen. He'd wait by the door when I was late. Cried when I left. Started calling me Nene before he even said Mama. It was cute, until it wasn't. Because I'd look at my sister and see something weird in her eyes. Guilt. Discomfort. Like she couldn't hold my gaze for more than a few seconds. She'd smile when the kids played with me, but it always looked forced. Stretched. And her moods? Up and down like a roller coaster. Grateful 1 minute, passive-aggressive the next. Sometimes she'd make these snide comments like, "Well, you're basically a dad now," and then laugh it off like it was a joke. But it didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a hint. I tried brushing it off. Told myself I was being paranoid. But the pieces kept piling up. Like how she always dodged questions about Eli's dad. Or how she got defensive whenever I brought up moving out or starting my own life. Then there were the photos. One night, I was digging through drawers looking for batteries, because apparently, I was also in charge of flashlight maintenance, and I found this box of old pictures. Family stuff. Us as kids. Her prom. Hospital bracelets. And buried in the stack, Eli's birth certificate. Now, I'm not a genius, but I can do math. And I remember exactly where I was 9 months before his birthday, drunk, depressed, and crashing on her couch after my last relationship imploded. She'd just broken up with that jackass. We were both a mess. I remember the wine. I remember the crying. I remember the night ending in a blackout. And I remember waking up the next morning with the worst hangover of my life, and her acting weird. I didn't want to believe it. But it was there. In the dates. In her eyes. In Eli's damn face. Every time he looked up at me like I hung the stars. And suddenly, the puzzle snapped into place. Every little thing I'd ignored. Every awkward silence. Every, "You're such a great uncle," said with clenched teeth. She knew. And she said nothing. Let me raise her kid, my kid, like some idiot side character in a soap opera while she played house and kept the truth buried. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed time. Answers. Proof. And yeah, maybe a little revenge. Because if she thought I'd keep being her unpaid babysitter once I knew the truth, she had another thing coming. The favor was over. It was a Tuesday. Boring, ordinary, painfully average. The kind of day where the biggest drama should have been someone spilling juice on the couch. But instead, it turned into the moment my world finally, officially tilted sideways. I'd picked up Eli from school like usual. He came flying out of the building like a shot, arms wide, face lit up like Christmas morning. That kid's whole face changed when he saw me. I used to think it was sweet. Now it just made my stomach twist. We got in the car. He buckled himself in. He was proud of that lately. and immediately launched into one of his 5-year-old rambling monologues about recess and dinosaurs, and how Tyler's mom packed Oreos and life is unfair. I nodded, laughed when I was supposed to, but honestly, my head wasn't there. Not really. Not since I found that damn birth certificate. It sat in my glove box now, folded up like some cursed relic. I couldn't stop thinking about that night. About the wine. About the black hole in my memory, and how my sister started acting cagey the morning after. I never wanted to believe anything happened. And if it did, that it meant nothing. A mistake. But raising the result of that night unknowingly for years? That wasn't a mistake. That was betrayal. Anyway, we got home, and I went through the motions. Unpacked his backpack. Checked for homework. Even though he was in kindergarten, and homework meant scribbles on paper and glue sticks. Then we sat on the couch watching cartoons. He curled up under my arm like he always did. Comfortable. Safe. And then he said it. "Daddy, can I have chocolate milk?" I didn't respond at first. I thought I misheard him. Maybe it was a line from the show. Maybe he meant to say Nate. But then he tugged at my sleeve, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're my dad, right?" Like my real dad. My brain short-circuited. Completely. I didn't know whether to laugh, cry, or throw up. Why would you say that, buddy? He shrugged, all casual. "Because mommy says you love me more than anyone. That you always take care of us. And you're the only one who stays." I swear I felt my heart stop. Not slow down, stop. Like a car slamming into a wall. I stared at this tiny human with my eyes, my chin, my stupid cowlick, and suddenly I couldn't pretend anymore. Couldn't write it off as a coincidence or paranoia. Because it wasn't just his face or the math or the tension in my sister's eyes. It was him. His soul. He knew. Maybe not in the grown-up, DNA test kind of way. But he knew. And kids don't lie about stuff like that. Not unless someone puts the idea in their head. And clearly, someone had. My sister. I got up, went to the kitchen, and just stood there staring into the fridge like it held answers next to the butter. My hands were shaking. I could still hear him in the other room. Humming, completely unaware he'd just blown my entire life apart. She told him. That's what really got me. She told him. She told a 5-year-old that I was his dad, but never had the guts to tell me. What the hell kind of person does that? She didn't trust me enough to be honest. But she trusted me enough to raise him? To pay for school supplies, and buy his inhaler, and teach him how to tie his shoes? I wasn't a placeholder. I was the father. I had been since day one. And she decided I didn't need to know. Later that night, after the kids were asleep, I tried to act normal. I didn't confront her yet. I wasn't ready. I wanted her to dig her own grave. So I tossed her a casual, "Hey, Eli asked me something weird today." She tensed. I saw it. Barely a flinch, but it was there. Like someone poked her spine with a needle. "Oh, yeah. He asked if I was his dad." She let out this little nervous laugh, like it was nothing. Kids say all kinds of things. Right. And birth certificates forge themselves. I nodded. "Yeah. Wild imagination, huh?" She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. I wanted to scream, but I didn't. Not yet. Because now I knew she was hiding it on purpose. Not because she was scared, but because she planned it. She used me. Let me build this bond. Let me invest everything into him. Time, money, love, while she pretended nothing happened. It wasn't just deceit. It was control. She didn't want me to know, because the second I knew, she'd lose control. And that was going to be my leverage. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in the living room, staring at the hallway where the kids were sleeping. And for the first time, I didn't feel like Uncle Nate anymore. I felt like a father with a ticking time bomb in his chest, and someone was about to hear it go off. After that night, I stopped pretending. I still picked up the kids, still cooked, still played the role, but the autopilot was off. Every glance, every conversation, every awkward laugh from my sister, I dissected it like a crime scene. Because it was one. I just hadn't finished gathering the evidence yet. That weekend, I did the thing I swore I'd never do. I bought a DNA test. One of those simple cheek swab, confirm your nightmare kits. I waited until Eli was brushing his teeth, turned it into a little game. He thought it was hilarious. Spit in a tube, laugh, rinse, repeat. No harm, right? It sat on my counter for 3 days before I mailed it. I kept second-guessing myself. What if I was wrong? What if this was all just a giant emotional meltdown? Then I'd remember his eyes. Or his voice calling me, "Dad," with zero hesitation. Or how my sister couldn't even look at me during dinner anymore. And I'd slap myself back into reality. I mailed it. And while I waited, I got to work. I started digging. Pulled old text backups. Found the messages from 5 years ago, around the time I crashed on her couch after my breakup. There was a week-long gap. No texts, no calls, no digital trail from either of us. That was the week. I knew it. And the morning after? She texted a friend I didn't recognize. He doesn't remember. I think I'm okay. I nearly threw my phone. Because I wasn't okay. And clearly, neither was she. Then came the kicker. A calendar notification from 5 years ago still buried in my Google account. Emergency pill, pickup. Set the day after our blackout night. So yeah, she knew. She absolutely, 100%, knew what happened. And then chose silence. I should have confronted her. I should have dragged her into the living room and made her say it out loud. But I didn't. Because this wasn't just about truth anymore. This was about control. This was about who owns the story. She'd taken that away from me once. She wasn't doing it again. The DNA results came a week later. I didn't even finish reading the email, just saw the words paternity confirmed and slammed my laptop shut so hard I nearly cracked the screen. My kid. Mine. And I never got to decide what kind of father I wanted to be. Never got to choose whether I'd be in his life or just another story he'd hear when he was older. She made that call for me. Like I was some donor on the side of a napkin. I snapped. Not outwardly. Not yet. But inside, I was done playing house. So I made a plan. There was a family reunion coming up. The once a year, everyone shows up and pretends they don't hate each other barbecue. The kind where our mom invites people who can't remember your name, but ask invasive questions anyway. Perfect stage. Perfect audience. I told my sister I'd drive us. Told her I'd bring the potato salad. Told her everything she needed to hear to keep her mask on. And then I printed the DNA results. Blew them up to 11 by 17. Laminated. If I was going to set fire to this fake little world she built, I was going to torch it properly. The day of the reunion, I brought two things, the potato salad and the truth. We arrived. Everyone hugged. My aunt made passive-aggressive comments about my hair. My uncle asked if I was still single, huh? You know, classic reunion stuff. Then I waited. Watched her flit around with that fake smile, laughing just a bit too loud. Telling everyone how Uncle Nate is basically a second dad to her boys. That was my cue. I stood up. Raised a plastic cup like I was about to give a toast. Hey everyone, I said. I've got a quick announcement. She froze. I saw it. That exact moment her soul tried to evacuate her body. But I kept smiling. I know we all joke about how I'm like a third parent around here. But turns out, that wasn't a joke. I pulled out the laminated DNA sheet. Held it up like a goddamn diploma. This little piece of paper says I'm not just the fun uncle. I'm Eli's biological father. Silence. You could hear a damn squirrel fart. My mom choked on her drink. Someone dropped a fork. My sister's face turned corpse white. I kept going. Yeah, wild, right? Apparently 5 years ago, there was a fun little blackout night no one wanted to talk about. And instead of, I don't know, having a conversation, someone decided to lie about it for half a decade. Cool stuff. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't even look at her. I looked at my family. Our family. The ones she always leaned on for sympathy. The ones who praised her for being so strong and so independent. I wanted them to see the truth. And they did. She tried to say something, stuttered out a few syllables, but I was already walking away. Dropped the DNA sheet on the table like a mic. Left the potato salad too, because I'm not a monster. Eli was with my mom during the whole thing. He didn't see the explosion. Thank God. He just knew I picked him up early and told him we were going to the park. We got ice cream. Played tag. Laughed. It was the best I'd felt in weeks. Because for the first time, I wasn't carrying a secret. The family group chat exploded before I even got home. Aunt Lisa wanted to know if this was some kind of sick joke. Uncle Paul just sent 3 question marks. Classic. My mom didn't say a word, which, honestly, was louder than any reply. But the queen of silence? My sister. Not a single text. No call. Not even a passive-aggressive meme. She vanished. Which was probably smart, considering I'd just detonated her web of lies in front of the entire extended bloodline. I was expecting fallout. Hell, I wanted it. Let them pick sides. Let them see her not as the poor, struggling single mom, but the woman who let her own brother raise his child without telling him. And for what? Pride? Shame? Control? I didn't even know anymore. What I did know was that she'd used me. Let me pay the bills, do the pickups, play daddy, and then got pissed when the truth started leaking through the cracks. So yeah, I lit a match. And the reunion? That was the bonfire. But it wasn't over. Not yet. Because after 2 days of silence, she finally messaged me. No apology. No explanation. Just, I can't believe you did that. That's it. Not I'm sorry. Not you're right. Not let's talk. Just full-blown victim mode. So I replied, can't believe I raised a kid for 5 years without knowing he was mine. But hey, guess we're both shocked. She didn't reply. Again. But this time, I wasn't letting her ghost me. So I showed up. Drove over. Knocked on her door like I wasn't done setting her life on fire. She opened it. Eyes puffy. No makeup. Like the mask had finally slipped for good. You shouldn't be here, she muttered. Yeah. I said. You shouldn't have lied for 5 years. Yet here we are. She tried to shut the door. I stopped it with my foot. Not slamming. just firm. I'm not here to scream, I said. I'm not here to punch a wall or make a scene. I just want the truth. Finally, she leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, like a sullen teenager. I didn't know how to tell you, she muttered. You were broken back then. You'd just gotten dumped. You were drinking every night. Stop, I cut in. Don't act like this was mercy. Don't rewrite history like I wasn't capable of handling it. You decided for me. Her lips trembled. It was one night. I didn't even know for sure at first. And then I saw how good you were with him. I didn't want to ruin that. I laughed. A dry, bitter sound. So instead, you turned it into a performance. 5 years of pretending. Letting me think I was helping you out, when I was actually helping raise my own son. She looked away. Couldn't even face me. You used me, I said, quieter now. You made choices for both of us. And you think I'm the villain for blowing it up? No, that was you. Still nothing. So here's what's going to happen, I said, pulling a document from my coat pocket. You're going to read this. It was a custody petition, drafted the night after I got the DNA results. I wasn't messing around anymore. I'm not trying to take him away from you, I said. I just want legal rights. Joint custody. My name on paper. My role, as his father, made real. Her eyes widened. You can't be serious. Oh, I'm serious. You think you get to hide the truth for 5 years, and I just keep being your little helper? Nah, that ship sank. Tears started falling then. Real ones. Ugly ones. I didn't enjoy them. Not really. But I didn't stop, either. You had 5 years to tell me. You could have sat me down at any point. But you waited until a child figured it out on his own. That's not love. That's cowardice. She took the paper with shaking hands. Didn't speak. Just nodded. And for the first time, I saw it, the guilt. Not fake tears. Not manipulation. Just raw, helpless shame. Maybe that was the first honest thing she'd shown me in years. We didn't hug. There was no healing movie moment. I left her standing in the doorway, holding the paperwork, looking like a statue carved out of regret. A week later, she signed. No fight. No lawyer. I think she knew she didn't have a leg to stand on. And just like that, I was legally his father. The calls from family slowly died down. Some took my side. Some played neutral. These days, Eli calls me dad like it's the most natural thing in the world. Because to him, it is. He doesn't remember a version of life where I wasn't there, showing up, holding his hand, packing his lunch, sitting through school plays with fake smiles and folding chairs from hell. He doesn't ask about the past. He doesn't need to. And me? I've stopped asking why she did it. The why doesn't matter anymore. The damage was done, the truth is out, and I finally got a say in my own damn life. She still tries, sometimes, sends birthday photos, updates, careful texts like she's testing the water. I don't block her. I just don't play along. I didn't burn it all down to rebuild fake peace. I did it so I could be his father. For real.